Thailand, and thank you all for coming along tonight. We're just about to start tonight's program, and before we go, those of you who don't know me, I'm Jonathan Head, on the board of the club and the BBC's Southeast Asia correspondent here. Quick updates on things that are forthcoming at the club. Next week, same time, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, one of our colleagues, Liam Cochrane, who is the Australian Broadcasting Corporation reporter here, is going to be launching his book about the cave rescue in Mesai last year in July. Liam was one of many journalists, myself included, who covered that story, and he's written a very detailed book giving all of the background information about how that remarkable rescue was carried out. So if you're around, it's really worth coming to. He'll be selling his books and signing them too. Just a couple of other things. On the 6th of March, we have in the daytime a investigative journalism network. This is investigative journalism training. It should be very good for any of you who are either starting out in investigative journalism or who want to broaden your journalist skills to come and join that at 12 midday. We're also hoping to hold an event, we haven't finalized the details, for International Women's Day, bringing in female politicians. I say we don't know yet, we're talking to some of them, but obviously politics is rather fluid in Thailand right now, and we're not sure which of them will want to speak. And on the 8th of March, those of you who are members, we have our annual general meeting. Please come if you can. It's when you get a chance to turf us out and elect a board that you like. Let's get on to tonight's program. And the topic of the legalization of marijuana has largely been confined in terms of its news value to North America recently. But Thailand sort of stole a march on every other Asian country by legalizing marijuana for medical purposes back in December. It's still not exactly clear how it will work. In Thailand, the constraints are still quite tight. It'll have to be prescribed by licensed dispensers, and the products will have to be approved by the government pharmaceutical organizations. So we know that Thailand is taking baby steps, but for a country which has had an incredibly tough attitude towards narcotics in the past, this is a very, very big leap, and it opens up all sorts of possibilities in the future. Anybody who's seen how the initial legalization of marijuana has worked in other countries, it starts with medical, you often move quite quickly to opening it up to recreational and to a generally very liberal environment for marijuana. So obviously there are business possibilities, there are medical possibilities, there are obviously potentially social risks as well. I'm delighted with the panel we have tonight. I'm going to start from the left. Dr. Somyot Kittimunkong is I would say, one of the longest standing advocates for the legalization of marijuana and has done a lot of research on its medical benefits and is a passionate believer in expanding the use of it for medical purposes. We have, and it's fantastic to have back at the club, Anutin Charnvirakul, who is the head both of the Bhum Jai Thai party and of one of the biggest construction companies, Somyot Thai, in Thailand. But the novelty is that Bhum Jai Thai are running on a campaign ticket of legalizing marijuana. They're actually making it a part, and a very prominent part, of their election campaign, and they will be one of the larger parties, so their campaign is likely to be very influential. And on the far right is Tom Kruesopon, an old friend of the club, a businessman, a man of many talents, who's applied his talents most recently to the marijuana business and has a lot of ideas about what its potential is. I'd like to ask Kun Anutin first just to talk about his party's platform. I know he's busy tonight. He does actually have to leave us a little early. And I promised Kun Anutin I would throw you a question. I mean, the easy question I wanted to ask, first of all, is why make marijuana and cannabis a central part of your party's election platform?
Okay, I have to ask you back, why should we not? I was kidding. You know, we believe that we are in the modern world, and we need to adapt ourselves to the change of the world, the change of beliefs and change of technology. Marijuana, or we call it pot during my days, you know, uh, we have been taught and we have been told that marijuana is part of narcotic plant and it is addicted. So everybody was made to believe that we should not touch this kind of tobacco. So I think the study also during the Vietnam War, the reason why the US made announcement that marijuana was part of narcotic drug was because once all the soldiers consume this kind of how you call it? Of substance, they tend to sleep. It made people calm down. It didn't make people become aggressive. So I think it's part of political propaganda. So the marijuana has been announced as an addicted substance, and Thailand has also absorbed this kind of belief. During my days, the parents would accept to the maximum when I was in childhood, in my generation as well as Tom. The maximum extent that, the most extent that our parents would agree to let us do is cigarettes. So we were also trained to learn that, we also learned that marijuana was an addicted substance. So we tended to be afraid of it. And deep in my mind, for example, I have always perceived that this is a no deal issue. When my party, I had to accept that this policy hasn't initiated by myself. And when it was brought up into my party's strategic committee, I was the first one who opposed. You can ask Tom, because he was brought in to enlighten me about this cannabis things. But after a while, I have been fed with lots of information. As people say in the past, you need to know, and you need to get into a lot of information before deciding on something. And luckily, the present government, the current government, was about to issue the law about marijuana. So I started to study deep into details, and I knew that it should not be just the government was only promoting for medical use, and with a fringe benefit to some kind of letting someone to get a registration on intellectual property. So at that time, we started to think that if we let this law pass, the first portion I could accept to let it be a medical option. But on the second issue, that the intellectual property registration could was pending, the approval by the Ministry of Commerce. And when I looked into the details, we have to say, my goodness, we're gonna make someone rich and we're gonna be poor again. And I mean, our people won't change. So we started to believe that since we have 5 types of, I would say, commercial crops: rice, palms, rubber, tapioca, and sugar cane. Why don't we just add one more stuff into it? And the record shows that this last thing will override the first 5 with, you know, hundreds of miles away. So we studied we call it the California model on this marijuana thing. Tom would not agree with me on this. Tom said, don't use California model only. There's South Carolina and Las Vegas, those kind of things. Colorado, those kind of things. But California is just good enough for us. If we free it up, we could kind of, I would say, my party aim for this upcoming election. We announced it clearly that we would be the only party who will not play political games. We will say, to hell with politics. We only focus on people's well-being, and we will do whatever we can in our capacity to drive any policy that results in people's well-being. Grab, for example, profit sharing on crops, profit sharing economy. Oh, no, sorry, sharing economy, and free up on anything. So this marijuana issue, which came at last, but we did not know that when the party leader like myself said no from the first time, it has become a talk of the town now, because people start getting to know more information about this, and they could calculate into values. In our party's policy, when we say free up, it doesn't mean we will liberalize for anyone to have access to this marijuana. We will do it under control, under strict control. Main issue will be each household will be able to grow 6 plants, and we know that each plant will contribute 1 ton of, how you call it, of materials, which worth about 70,000 baht a ton, a kilo. Sorry, each plant will contribute 1 kilogram. So each plant will earn 70,000 baht for each plant. Each plant will earn 70,000. So if you have 6 plants, that household will carry 420,000 baht per family. And you know that when people got matured, we can split the title deed. So if you have 4, we say it's not a joke. Yeah. If any member in our family get matured, so he can have another, get another house deed. So he can also grow another 6 plants. So if the the income will be to that extent. We believe that this policy will surely improve lots of people's well-being. And then it's not going to be used for, they cannot trade it direct. They have to trade with the government authority. Like we have now the tobacco authority. We buy all the tobacco leaves and then sell it to each individual manufacturers. We don't let manufacturers to buy directly from the household. We don't allow inter-trading between people and people. So this will be this policy will be able to have a good control if we want to control it strictly. Of course, if our party actually the draft of the law has been finished. If our party could get into the House, we will propose this law, and we have already included all the protection for someone to do some things illegal. I will say that to answer your question, we haven't seen a negative effect. Marijuana has less aggression than people consuming alcohol. At least when you consume it, you can calm down. It has medical value in in protecting cancer, insomnia, and headache. So I think the Dr. Somyot will be able to explain more.
Dr. Somyot, would you like to perhaps explain to us some of the medical sides? Do you need to share your video now, or do you just want to talk for a bit?
I think everyone have learned a lot from abroad that the cannabis, especially cannabis oil, has potential for treating many kinds of diseases like hypertension, diabetes, insomnia, Parkinsonism, or even the cancer. I think everyone have learned about from abroad that the cannabis plant has potential for replace the modern medication for treating different kinds of diseases.
I think now we just want to change the conception, the concept of Thai people to be more understandable that marijuana is not a drug of penalty. It is a substance which reduces lots of aggression. If we allow people to consume alcohol, cigarettes, you run the choice, you run a great chance of being cancer or alcoholic. But it hasn't shown significantly that when people consume marijuana, the consequential damage is as great as people consuming, alcohol or cigarettes or tobaccos. So we haven't seen any downside to the point that we have to be very cautious of driving this kind of policy. And once we have that, actually before announcing this policy, lots of discussions were made in our internal group within the party. But finally, when we decided to go, it has lots of positive feedback rather than negative. And up till now, we haven't heard anything back from the public that, apart from saying that it, it, it used to be narcotic. It used to be a drug of harm. Apart from that, we haven't heard any other reasons. So to answer Jonathan's questions, we decided to go ahead with the marijuana policy in believing that it is in conforming with our party's intention, that to better people's well-being, and people will find benefit and improve their income from this policy. So this is the reason why we set a goal for marijuana.
Thank you very much indeed, Kun Anutin. Kun Somyot, could you just tell us a little bit about why you started campaigning for the liberalization of marijuana and what you discovered yourself in the research that you did?
This is the tragic story from my family. About 5 years ago, my younger brother, he had a thyroid cancer, and at that time we trying to find every way to help him, even trying to import illegally substance from abroad to treat his thyroid cancer. But finally he died at the Sirat hospital. But after that, I learned myself that from searching from internet that marijuana cannabis, medical cannabis can be an alternative option for treating cancer. But after that, I had a chance it's still illegal that I extract the cannabis oil using the rice cooker.
I'm sure there's a few people who've done that.
I use it illegally to treat my cancer patient. She has breast cancer, final stage of cancer, and the breast cancer spread it to her lung, and we have no options. We had to only, okay, we tried the cannabis oil for her, and just only 1 week, her lung improved from checking from the chest X-ray. But at that time, the oncologist told her husband that no, it's not from the chemotherapy, but I didn't know what happened, what helped her with that. So that is my first impression of using the cannabis oil, that we can use it to treat the cancer. But after that, I trying with my colleague. We had a several meeting with the government official at the ministry. But I think we cannot convince them to believe that cannabis could be the option, alternative option for the treating many kind of diseases. So I decided to publish my first book. Cannabis could be a drug to treat cancer. That the starting point about 2 years ago, yeah. And after that, so we trying to educate the people. But someone didn't believe it. So a doctor, he sent a letter to the Medical Council, Thailand, that I say something. I taught the people the illegal use of using illicit drug. So he trying to remove my license. I have been fighting it for about 2 years, but finally that case is finally finished. So now
has the environment changed now completely?
No, it's changed. After the team of the government pharmaceutical organization, they traveled to Canada, to the cannabis company in Canada, and brought the idea about using the cannabis as a drug to treat the people. And I think it's last year. So everything has changed since then. And now we have learned that many parties, many political parties, especially I think Bhum Jai Thai, right now are using the concept, using the evidence that the cannabis can be the option, can be drugs, not just only for recreational, but using as a medical, for medical use to treat many kind of diseases, to help the people, and also to help the economy, to boost economy, especially at the grassroots, to help the people to earn some money to help to feed their families.
I'm just going to bring in Tom here, because Tom, you've sort of spotted the business opportunities here. But I know you've got a video to play, but perhaps before we do that, perhaps you could talk a little bit about why you've done other businesses before, but why this is such a good business opportunity now.
Thank you, Vera. Thank you for everyone for attending tonight. Certainly, I think Kun Anutin is always a very humble man when he talks about any policies of the party. But when I first brought this up way back when, it's not that he was against it. I think he wanted to understand it. And as he understood the benefits of cannabis, not only for business, but for the medical aspect of it, as you have seen now, Bhum Jai Thai is the party out there. I mean, you just have to walk down Silom or Sukhumvit, you see all the posters, right? I told him actually to make him smell like marijuana. He'd win immediately. I always tell Kun Anutin he's going to bring back Thailand's main slogan, the land of smiles. We are going to be, again, the land of smiles here. About 2 years ago, I sold my company. I used to be a part owner of AirAsia X. So I sold my company, took my wife around the world, till one day she sat me down. She goes, we ran out of places to visit. Go back to work. So I was looking for the next big opportunity. My partner was a gentleman named Tony Fernandez, and he always taught me, always look for the new trend and create new customers, right? Based upon an existing business that's not doing well. So we landed in Las Vegas. I was asked to go to a dispensary, and I was stunned that the line to get cannabis was across the street at 3 in the morning. And there was a reason for that, because all the card dealers got off their shift at 2:30 and they can't fall to sleep. So they went to the dispensary to buy cannabis to take home where they can go to sleep for 7 hours. Okay, and I was going, wow, this is a neat little business. And what we found out was in the US, it was legal in 31 states. CBD is actually legal. Remember, marijuana has 2 compounds, CBD and THC. CBD is actually, from hemp, is legal in 50 states. Which then, when I looked at Amazon.com, and I started seeing that Amazon.com was actually selling hemp oil, I go, this is the next gold rush. Because if Amazon is starting to sell marijuana, this is going to be a huge, huge business. And so we looked at it, and then we said, wow, well, Thailand is going to legalize it. So maybe we can sell it here too. And what we found out was, as in anything in Thailand, it takes the initiative of a big party. For those of you who don't know, there are 3 or 4 big political parties in Thailand. Obviously, there's the parties that's supporting the army. We call them the Palang parties. Any power party is supporting the army. And then we call the Phua parties, which is anybody Phua for something. Right? So those are the 2 big ones, the Palang, the power, and the Phua. Then you have the Democrats who, anyway. Are they still around? And then you have people like Bhum Jai Thai, who I really do think is going to be the difference maker in the next election, as people can't disagree. And with a party like Bhum Jai Thai now out there supporting this policy completely, not only for medical, by the way. Bhum Jai Thai is basically saying, let's go ahead and do medical and recreational at the same time. And I was in one of these strategic meetings. I was honored to be of 10. And the reason for the party was this. They were very concerned that if only medical was approved in Thailand, the price of the medicine would be so high because only a few will be able to manufacture it, which then again causes problems for the people who need it, as the good doctor have said. So what they decided to do was, well, if we just did medical, only a few will win. But if we went recreational, then a lot will win. Okay, because as you know, and you might not know this for all you foreigners here, as you visit a Thai noodle shop, you've probably been having noodles with marijuana for quite a while. We put marijuana into our food. That's why Thai food tastes so good. So be careful of that pat grapao. Okay?
He's not a member of my party.
I'm not. No, everybody asks me, what do I do for Bhum Jai Thai? I go, they don't want me to do anything.
Only advisor.
But again, you have to understand the policy. It wasn't initiated by Bhum Jai Thai. It was actually initiated by this current government, as Kun Anutin said. And the initiation was to go medical, with only institution of medicine as hospitals and universities can be able to dispense. They've taken it to another level, which will allow normal people to do. That's the policy. I will talk about the business side of it. I actually brought some for people who want it. Okay. Some people ask me, how do you walk in with this? I go, I just walked in with it.
Clearly our security's a bit lax.
What's that?
Our security's obviously a bit lax, yeah.
No, I just told them I knew Kun Anutin.
Still illegal.
But before I go on, because I do have to, Kun Anutin was so kind. We just asked him to come yesterday to talk about his policy, but John, he has to leave, so shall we have him say his goodbyes first, and then I can go on?
Look, what I'm going to do is, before we carry on, because I want to hear a bit more from Tom and from Ajahn Somyot, but if anybody's got any questions they want to put to Kun Anutin, he's got to leave early. There is actually somewhere a microphone there in that sea of people. If you want to put a question to him, feel free now, and if you don't, I will.
And it can be a political question.
Yeah, we have one gentleman back there.
One gentleman back there.
Please, yeah, come forward. Come to the microphone, please. And can you identify yourself as well, please?
Yeah, Tim Noonan from South China Morning Post in Hong Kong. I just want to ask you a question about legislation. So let's say hypothetically that you are in a position after the election to actually enact legislation. Despite some of the changes to the Constitution, what time is it? Yeah, in the last year or so, how long would it take to enact this legislation and get it through, and how difficult do you think it would be?
This is on legalizing marijuana.
Well,
Yes, well, it's a two-pronged question, not just medical, because that's already legal, but recreational as well.
Kun Anutin.
well, the slogan of my party running for this election is any policy issued from my party will have to be carried out instantly. In Thai we call ทำได้เร็ว ทำได้เลย which is means we will do it instantly, and we will only say the policy that can be done. I have said several times with the media or even with among the fellow party leaders when we were on the floor debating. I have said very clear that if Bhum Jai Thai party is ever entering into any coalition, they will have to buy all of our policies. And vice versa, we will buy all of their policy as well, as long as that policy is foreign to the people of Thailand. So it can be done instantly, sir.
Okay, but for some like myself who don't know the specifics as far as passing legislation, what sort of time frame are we looking at?
Normally, in order to start this has to be a new law. Under the Constitution, any party which comprises 5% of the seats in the House can propose the law. So once proposing the law, it has certain formalities to go on. And in normal circumstances, it depends on how persuasive the government, the court, I would say the cabinet, will expedite this process. If we were in the cabinet and if our party is, is crucial in that coalition, it can be done even quicker. If we were unlucky and we became opposition party, it could be a lot more difficult or impossible. So, but I don't expect that my party will be on the on the check and balance side. I strongly believe that we work very hard to be active in the coalition in the next government.
Thank you. Todd, do you have a question?
Todd Rees with Council in English. We've put a number of calls into the FDA, who are supposed to be regulating this, to try to find out how it's going to apply. Well, let me just say this. Asking for a friend, how will this law, in your understanding, apply to foreign nationals living in Thailand, to non-Thais, both on the consumption side, business side, I mean, through the whole thing? What is the understanding of how, I guess, the law will be applicable to people living here? That's a question we get a lot. People wondering how, specifically for people living here, foreign nationals, will be able to take advantage of the law. Does that make sense?
Well, if you talk about commercial aspect, you will have another source of good materials that you can procure. As I said, this is not a total liberalization of cannabis, of marijuana, but it has to be under a certain control. We only focus on making people well-being, having another source of occupation for the people of Thailand. And so in terms of commercial from foreign countries, people can, well, I hope that one day we will be able to export the same way Israel has announced.
If it's helpful for, I imagine that this is likely to precipitate a large new wave of medical tourism. People coming here, if you're one of the 1.5 billion people in Asia, suddenly medical weed is not in North America or Europe, it's in Thailand. So you're coming here. Is this something that visitors will be able to have access to under the mechanisms that have been put forth in the law and under the FDA?
That is even a win-win situation. That not only benefit the foreigners who can come in to seek medication treatment in Thailand, having this marijuana as part of their drugs, you know. Also the Thai people and also the how you call it, domestic business, especially the hospitality business, will surely will surely be on the rise as well. As I said, it will take a while to materialize this policy through the change of people's perception, but this present government has already made a good start. I have to give them a credit that the present legislative people has already laid a good foundation, especially in terms of announcing marijuana as a part of medication. We only try to preserve the right and the benefit of the country by not advocating the registration of intellectual property, because that will, you see, in this particular case, it says that people who will be able to grow marijuana, to have a concession to grow to plant marijuana, will need to have a 30 million baht registered capital of that company. How many people in Thailand has 30 million baht? Tom might have, but not all the people. The poor doesn't have. So under our policy, we will give them a big discount. Each plant they pay 30 baht, $1 approximately. Similar to people paying in California. So they're paying 180 baht for 6 marijuana trees and gaining, let's be hopeful that we're gaining 70,000 baht a kilo. So each year they will earn 420,000 baht per household.
Was that a question, another one? Yeah, please, go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Tony Trewick. I'm with Influence BKK and also ThailandMedicalMarijuana.org. My question is, once it is legalized, do you believe that it will be under the hospital model, where only large hospitals will be able to consult with patients, or local private general practitioner physicians and Thai or herbal medicine physicians will be able to consult with patients as well?
So, who under the law will be able to dispense it?
I think under the law that's going to come in the near future, I think the law say that not just only the medical practitioner that practice using the Western treating patients like using Western medication, but also Thai herbal doctor and pharmacists can also have a chance to participate in this arena. For doctors, they can prescribe the formulation that contain the cannabis as an ingredient in that formulation, and also the Thai herbal pharmacists can produce the drug formulation that contain the medical cannabis. I think that right now the Ministry of Public Health Thailand are trying to solving this kind of problem by looking at the formulation, the old formulation, and now they're coming up with about 16 formulation that have been that we have been used in the past that contain the medical cannabis. And that I think in the future, I think not just only the medical doctors, but also Thai herbal doctors and herbal pharmacists can participate in this arena.
Excellent. Thank you.
Is it clear who can actually dispense marijuana medical products?
As of right now,
Yeah.
we need to be crystal clear. Cannabis in Thailand is illegal. It may have passed through the first cabinet, but it's still not been approved. If you just read the basic first law, it would go back to your initial question, which is it would be kept in a very closed environment where only hospitals and research facilities as universities, as for example, right now one of the leading universities, Mall Rangsit, is doing research on this. If you went with exactly what's been passed through the cabinet, it will be kept within that closed environment. What Bhum Jai Thai or other people are trying to do, people like the doctor, people like Kun Lung Tu here, who I call Mr. Marijuana in Thailand, stand up. This is Mr. Marijuana. He's actually out pushing. He's actually out there pushing the policy of your secondary thing. I think we need to be able to differentiate, right? Marijuana, cannabis is cannabis. There are two things: there's CBD and THC. To say it's medical or recreational, you have to decide which one you want to use. In America, 31 states, it's medical and recreational. In 11 states, you can do both, right? So what I see happening in Thailand is very much as the US, where you're not going to be able to separate the two. So Thai herbal medicine, as he said, will be able to dispense marijuana, cannabis. But it'll still be dispensed, as Kun Anutin said, in a very controlled environment. You can't go to Las Vegas and just buy cannabis off the streets. You actually have to go to a dispensary. You don't have to go to a hospital, but you got to go to a dispensary.
That's correct. I just want to make one more point. In the United States, it requires you to actually have a consultation from a physician previous to going to a dispensary.
Well,
so is that going to be the model here? Where
not
it's gonna be
anymore.
required?
Not in the 11 states
Right. For
that are
recreation.
fully legal for recreational and medical. In the other states, all you have to do is go visit a doctor. And I tried this. I just want to see what the process was. The doctor actually asked me, "Why are you here?" Go, "I want to get a medical marijuana card." He goes, "It's $25." I go, "Are you going to ask me what my sickness is?" He goes, "What do you have?" I go, "I can't sleep." He goes, "Here it is." And then I walked over to the dispensary, which was 2 doors down from the clinic, and I went and bought a brownie. I actually didn't smoke it. I bought a brownie, which was THC laced, which was, at that time, I wasn't very educated. They said it was THC laced, which I thought meant medical grade, because I thought CBD wasn't medical grade. And then I took it and I fell asleep for 7 hours. So again, I think you'll see that kind of progression. But remember, it took Colorado from medical to recreational over 5 years. From there, it took 20 years before California did it. And the reason they chosen the California model is because I think California has learned from all the mistakes of Colorado, has learned from all the mistakes of Oregon, has learned from the mistakes of Washington. And basically, I think this is why and you ask the perfect question, which is will it be easily able to get? Yes, but still in a controlled atmosphere.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Next question, please.
Hi guys, my name is Ritesh, and what I'm doing is I'm a startup here in Thailand to create the first international medical marijuana card for Asia and work our way backwards. With all this legislation, how are the patients here coming from everywhere in the world? If they get caught here and asked to do a urine test, do they go to jail straight away? Or if they have this card, will they be accepted as a medical marijuana user even though they don't possess anything?
Well, once the law passed, then it will become legalized, but not now, sir.
Yeah,
Cannot
as
be
for
done
medical
now.
marijuana, as you said, as it passes for medical marijuana, but as a valid ID for somebody to have, would that also work when that law passes only? Or let's say you have an American guy who has a CBD issue. He's stopping over here for 2 days. He's going somewhere else. But he gets caught for a urine test.
Unless you're an Australian Bahraini football player, you don't go to jail in Thailand. Okay, but if you are, then you got a problem.
All right.
Let's be clear.
Yeah.
I think your question is, once it's legal medically, if you came in and wanted to do recreational CBD,
No, what I'm saying is if you've already done it, it's in your system. Right now, even in Malaysia, I'm a Malaysian. If you happen to get caught with a urine test, you go to jail. You can't identify yourself as a medical marijuana user. There is no international standard of having a card. And that is what actually we're doing here.
I think we still right now we don't have a international standard yet about getting ID card for the medical cannabis user anywhere. I think especially in Asia.
In Asia, they don't have it.
I think even in Thailand we are waiting for the regulation at the ministry level, ministry level that we have the questions for them. if the system will issue medical ID card for medical cannabis user, when you show it to the policeman, okay, you have it. Even
As a startup, that's what we're doing. We're working with India, South Korea, Malaysia. We're trying to get to work here as we have applied for BOI as well.
Tonight's your chance
So-
to make the contacts to do that, I think. You've got the right people here.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, Dr. Somyot, I assume it's fair to say that the law is still evolving, that it's new, and that there's still all regulations.
I think we are new. It's by we are in the baby with the baby step. That I think in the future. I think in not too long.
As this is a $500 billion industry, it has to have disruption as well.
Yeah.
Because this is disrupting tobacco, alcohol, pharma, healthcare, edibles. So when do we get in? Do we wait for the laws, or do we do it and then?
You go invest in the U.S. and Canada.
Unfortunately, you can't vote for my party.
Are you Thai?
I'm Malaysian.
Sit down.
Hello everyone. My name is Hatayrat Pahuntap. I'm a freelancer. I'm a freelance journalist. I just want to ask just one question. So if marijuana free in market or in Thailand society, so do you think people who get arrested or people who spend time in jail should be released or get amnesty from the situation after the law passed from the parliament? What do you think? How we gonna deal with them? Thank you.
It's for you, I think.
I think, well, conceptually, the law don't go backward. It has a cutting date. But I think the penalty for people who consume marijuana, unless you sell it in tons, it is not that bad. If you just process only few amount, I think the penalty is only to get a fine or some kind of social social service on probation. What I'm trying to say here is we try to be as comprehensive as we can when we're bringing along this new law. But the concept of this law is not to an individual, but we're trying to first make our people, especially farmers, to have more options to earn their income. Second, taking advantage that we all, from the study, Thailand has the best strain of marijuana.
Thai stick.
So, in terms of commercial issues, this will be a big industry. What Thai people will earn is taxations out of this kind of trade, which in California itself it contributes about almost $4 billion US just from the tax. I mean the tax through VAT, through corporate income tax, so on and so forth. So this can also happen in Thailand. We always say that Thailand lacks of money to help the poor. This can be one of the money that we used to call it sin tax. From now on, nobody wanted to have sin tax to sponsor their education. Now we're gonna say that this is the legal taxation that we will use to sponsor on elderly, on health care, on education, on social welfare. So this can bring lots of fortune to Thailand, and also maybe it might be a disruption that a gentleman from Malaysia has said. Why bother growing tapioca? Why bother growing rubbers? You know that it used to be 120 baht per kilo. From now on, it's almost 10 kilo per 100 baht. So this can be a big disruption. But the record show that once people start consuming pots, the numbers of the amount of sales of alcoholic distilled beverage has significantly come down. Alcohol kills people. Cigarettes kill people. Drugs, of course, kill people, but not the pot. The pot makes people sleep and stay home.
Great party platform.
So this is why we dare doing this policy, despite lots of people, lots of resistance, even within our party. But those resistance came from only their old concept. They haven't got into the current information that they have, that we are having right now.
Thank you very much, Kun Anutin. I know you have to go now, which is fine. Can we just give Kun Anutin a quick round of applause? And while he goes, before I take any other questions, Dr. Somyot, you have a video you wanted to play, right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just going to put this video on quickly.
คิดยังไงกับเรื่องกัญชายาเสพติดล่ะครับคิดว่าเราถูกล้างสมองถูกบอกให้เชื่อแบบไม่มีข้อโต้แย้งคุณไม่ถอดสารออกมาในกัญชาเนี่ยไม่มีสารเสพติดสักตัวแล้วทำไมข้อมูลพวกนี้ทำไมคุณไม่เอามาบอกเขาบ้างอ่ะไม่ใช่คุณก็มาบอกเขาว่ากัญชาเป็นยาเสพติดมีฤทธิ์ถึงตายสูบกินข้ามได้ผอมแห้งแรงน้อยถ้าสูบกัญชาแล้วพี่ผอมแห้งลงอย่างที่เขาบอกกันนะพี่ไม่ตายไปแล้วหรอยอมรับได้แล้วว่ามันไม่ใช่ถึงที่คุณบอกกล่าวลงมานะตอนที่รู้ว่าเป็นมะเร็งพี่มีอาการเจ็บที่ชายโครงด้านขวาเจ็บมากฮะช่วงนั้นทรมานไม่มีแรงหายใจได้สั้นไอใช้ชีวิตค่อนข้างลำบากอะผล CT สแกนก็สรุปเลยว่าเราเป็น HCC เป็นมะเร็งตับมีก้อนมะเร็งหลายก้อนใหญ่สุดก็10 เซนแล้วก็จะมีก้อนเล็กๆน้อยๆอีกเยอะแยะเลยที่เป็นอันตรายก็คือว่าก้อนนี้มันไปพอกอยู่ที่เส้นเลือดใหญ่ถ้าจะผ่าตัดก็ผ่าตัดไม่ได้ถ้าจะฉายแสงก็ไม่สามารถทำได้เหมือนกันแล้วถ้าจะทำคีโมคุณหมอเขาบอกว่าก็ไม่สามารถทำได้เพราะว่าเป็นมะเร็งก้อนที่ใหญ่แล้วก็อยู่ในจุดที่อันตรายคุณหมอก็ส่งตัวกลับไม่มีการรักษามันก็เคว้งเพราะเราไม่รู้จะไปทางไหนแล้วเราเป็นคนป่วยอ่ะถ้ายังพึ่งหมอไม่ได้แล้วพี่จะไปพึ่งใครเนี่ยมาเริ่มใช้กัญชาได้ยังไงก็กลับมาวันนั้นเลยแฟนก็เปิด Facebook เจอเพจหนึ่งของต่างประเทศจะพูดเรื่องสาร THC ในกัญชารักษามะเร็งก็จากนั้นก็เริ่มใช้ใช่ข้อมูลพวกนี้หาได้ทั่วไปหาไม่ได้ที่เดียวคือเมืองไทยครับข้อมูลเมืองไทยก็จะบอกว่ากัญชาเป็นยาเสพติดเป็นสิ่งที่ไม่ดีมีอยู่แค่นี้ก็อย่างที่ว่าแหละเราไม่มีทางเลือกอะไรก็ได้นะเหมือนคนจมน้ำอ่ะอะไรลอยมาถ้ามันจะพอพยุงเราได้เราก็ต้องไปไขว่คว้าเอาไว้อ่ะก็ลองดูวิธีการพี่ก็ชงเหมือนชาทานเช้าเย็นแต่พอมันเริ่มเห็นผลน่ะพี่ก็เริ่มเพิ่มจากชงวันละกาก็กลายเป็นว่าเช้ากาเย็นกา เดือนแรก2 เดือนแรกเนี่ยจะลงน้อย เพราะว่าปริมาณของเชื้อมันเยอะ แล้วเราเพิ่งเริ่มใช้เนี่ยปริมาณสาร THC มันก็ค่อนข้างที่จะน้อย แต่ก็เห็นได้อะหลังนั้นก็ดีขึ้นมาเรื่อยๆดีเป็นสเต็ปพี่จำได้ว่าครั้งแรกค่า AFP พี่ 1,270 นะพอเดือนที่2เนี่ยเหลืออยู่ประมาณ900กว่าพอหลังจาก900มาปุ๊บตอนนี้จะหาร2มาเลยก็มันเป็น450มันเป็น200กว่าคือจะลดลงทุกครั้งที่พี่ไปเจาะเลือดก็ใช้เวลาอยู่13 เดือนนะก็หายปกติรู้สึกยังไงทึ่งนะทึ่งเรื่องแรกก็ทึ่งว่าทำไมมันใช้ได้จริงทึ่งเรื่องที่2กัญชาที่ดิมอยู่ที่บ้านเราแต่ทึ่งอีกเรื่องก็คือว่าอเมริกาจดสิทธิบัตรไปแล้วซึ่งจริงๆแล้วน่าจะเป็นประเทศไทยใช่ไหมฮะเรื่องกัญชารักษามะเร็งเนี่ยพี่ก็ยังงงประเทศไทยเหมือนว่าตัวอย่างก็มีคนป่วยเคสสตัดดี้ก็มีแต่ทำไมจนถึงปัจจุบันเนี้ยก็ยังไม่มีการคืบหน้าอะไรไปเลยแต่กลับกันครับคนป่วยก็ตายไปทุกวันเหมือนเดิมนะคนพูดเรื่องจริงแล้วเป็นสิ่งที่ถูกต้องมาเบอร์อย่างเงี้ยรู้สึกไม่ดีเลยครับผมก็ไม่ได้ไปทำให้ใครเดือดร้อนนะผมปลูกก็ปลูกเองข้อมูลที่ผมพูดมาก็เป็นความจริงตัวผมเองผมก็ล่อมาเอกสารอะไรผมมีแต่กลับมาเบอร์หน้าผมเนี่ยเหมือนว่าข้อมูลที่ผมพูดไปเนี่ยมันเป็นข้อมูลที่เลวร้ายมากทำให้ชาติล่มจมงั้นมันไม่ใช่ไงฮะคนพูดเรื่องจริงแล้วเป็นสิ่งที่ถูกต้องมาเบอร์อย่างเงี้ยตัดสิทธิ์เราเกินไปหรือเปล่าเพียงแต่คุณเปิดรับมันนะเปิดใจศึกษามันอยากให้คนที่มองกัญชาไม่ดีเนี่ยลองกลับไปศึกษาตัวกัญชาเขาว่าเขาไม่ดีอย่างที่คุณว่าจริงหรือเปล่าถ้าตอนนั้นถ้าพี่ไม่มีกัญชาโอ้ยพี่ไปตั้งแต่2 เดือนแรกแล้วมั้งมันตายไปแล้วล่ะเพราะว่าก็เดดไลน์หมอก็บอกอยู่แล้ว3 เดือน
You on the map now?
Yeah, sure. So Jonathan has asked me to speak a little bit about the business opportunity and why I put over $30 million of my wife's money into this business. It's my wife's money. That's one of the main reasons. So again, we went to Las Vegas. This is my farm. This is our outdoor growth. Please understand, people, this is our indoor growth. You have to understand, there's 2 different kinds of growth in marijuana. It's not as simple as sticking a plant into the ground. Each of these trees we treat like our child. Each of these trees will generate about $10,000 for us over its lifetime. And the good thing about each tree is it doesn't go away. Somebody always asks me, do you have to put in new seeds? The answer is no. Every time we harvest, we take the stick, we cut it, we replug it. So it's a plant that keeps on giving. Please understand, this is, you don't have to sit here.
I'm your right hand.
Aw, I have the head of the FCCT doing my bidding for me. I'll give you some for tonight. Yes, well, okay, I want to get to this. So anyway, so to answer your question was, I thought that I was going to have an opportunity to invest in the marijuana business in Thailand, okay? And what I found out was, as I think the gentleman from the South Morning China Post, the gentleman from Malaysia, things take time, and I have no patience, right? I'm a trend follower. If you're not in the right trend, you're going to be in trouble. And I saw that marijuana is actually the new gold rush. I mean that from a serious manner. I call it the green rush, right? Why? It's $1 billion business when it's illegal. Why is it not going to be a multi-billion business when it is legal? And like what we did with AirAsia, we never went after the existing customers of Thai Airways or Malaysian Airlines. We created a new customer base. Before AirAsia came into Malaysia or before AirAsia came into Thailand, my driver could not fly because the price was so high. The choices were so limited. But with marijuana being legalized in America, with marijuana now being legalized around the world, you're going to create an entirely new customer base. Because my wife will not smoke a joint. You cannot get her to smoke a joint, regardless of what people may think. But the fact that she can actually eat a pretzel, right? The fact that she can eat a cookie. By the way, this one cookie, how much do you think this one THC cookie costs? Actually, it costs $22. And it's just, see, everything in America, and this is what there's going to be a problem in Asia. America goes overboard with everything. Opening this thing is like you need the Hulk. Because they do it not child-proof, they do it idiot-proof. This is a cookie. If you've never seen one, okay, this is a marijuana THC CBD infused cookie. If you took this, you will be asleep in 20 minutes. And you will not wake up for 7 hours. Okay? But I'll tell you what's good about this cookie. I have a problem sleeping because I sleep with rapid eye movement. Because my brain is always thinking of how I spend my wife's money. I have a Fitbit. A Fitbit tells me how long I sleep without waking up. Usually I do about 3 hours and then I wake up. I don't wake up, but I don't get the deep sleep. After taking marijuana in the US, by the way, who's ever watching this, I don't do marijuana in Thailand. I do not want to go to jail. I'm not Bahraini. I get 7 hours of just sleep. So when you ask me the medical aspects of it, I'm going to be very clear. I'm not saying that it doesn't cure things. I'm not convinced yet. Because there's no research that has come out to specifically say that it cures cancer, or it cures Alzheimer's, or it cures anything. There's no, but the research is being done, and it's being done by people like him. I'm very concerned, however, when people actually start taking stuff thinking that it's a miracle cure. There is no such thing in this world, right? I do have a friend, his name is Chris, he's currently at our lab in Las Vegas now. He's gone through chemo 84 times. He's at stage 4 cancer in his, what do you call this, sarcophagus? Not sarcophagus, he's already dead. Thank you. So Chris flew to my facility basically saying, I have nothing to lose. I have stage 4 cancer, I've had chemo for 84 times, Tom, I want to try your stuff. So Chris actually came and took a cocktail of what we created for him. And our cocktail is very simple. Cookies, gummies, brownies, right? This was the cocktail. What we found out with Chris immediately was he regained his appetite. That's the good thing about cannabis. It makes you hungry. So for ladies, be careful, it will make you fat. You will get the munchies if you start eating this stuff. What we saw with Chris was he was able to regain his appetite. And the other thing he was able to regain immediately was the fact that he wasn't nauseated anymore. Why? Because he was just in a state of bliss. So he's gone back and he took his, what do you call it, the blood samples, the white blood cell count or something like that. It's gone up. He's going to die anyway. He's not going to be cured by marijuana. But what I really believe is happening to Chris is his quality of life before dying is going to be better. Because the most exciting thing that happened to Chris while he was in Las Vegas was he was able to go and eat at the Bacchanal buffet. He hasn't been in a buffet for 2 years because he just hated food. So if you ask me what marijuana does, that's what it does. Now on a business side, the reason we decided to invest in the US was, this is my wife with our babies. These are 9-foot tall marijuana trees. This is our product, it's called Fly. We have one of the best vapes being sold in the US right now. These are all our little products. Let's stop there for a sec. This is why marijuana is going to be a huge business, because you don't have to roll it up anymore. I think this table has rolled it up once in their lifetime. Never. Technology has really helped. This is our vape pen. Our vape pen sells for $65. It's basically an oil vape you put in, you press the little button, and you smoke it. Okay. Anyway, so going back on the business side, we decided to invest in a public company in Canada called Nutritional High. The laws in America are very interesting. It's going to be too long for me to explain, but basically, wherever you have your facility in that state, you can only sell in that state. So if you have a place to extract your THC, you can only sell it in California. You can't go cross-state yet, except for CBD. Anyway, long story short, Putin. Yeah, that's why we love Putin. Going back, we invested in the company. The company's stock price at that time was at 12 cents Canadian. It's now risen to 36 cents for a very simple reason, because recently, Mitch McConnell, the head of the United States Senate, who represents Kentucky, allowed hemp to be legal all over the U.S. And now there's a bill going through the United States Congress by Representative Wyland to allow complete full THC CBD to be legal in all of the U.S. Okay.
Tom, can I just ask how this will help Thailand? I mean, how can Thailand...
And here's where I go.
Yeah.
So originally, the reason I bought the company in Canada and U.S. was that I needed an import-export license. I really thought that by the time I bought the company, Thailand would allow the exportation of marijuana, whether it's the plants or it's the finished products. However, that's not done yet. But I truly do think that at some juncture that will happen, because if you even look into the new law now that has been passed by this current government, if you look into the loophole of it, every law has a loophole. The loophole is it will allow the importation of medical marijuana from either Canada, US, or Europe, wherever there's a legal country. Wink, wink. So we created a medical marijuana brand in Canada and US, which we will hope, as soon as Kun Anutin wins, to be able to export back for the usage here. Why do we think our product is better? Because the US FDA is 1,000 times better than the Thai FDA, right? That's why we created our own product that hopefully will be export back here, so Thai people can use it without having to pay exorbitant prices. The other thing is there is another loophole in the law. You can actually import too, right? But you can only import finished products. Now, by the way, please understand, if everybody's going to run out there and start growing marijuana in their backyard and think about importing it to the US or Canada, that won't happen. Okay? That's not going to happen. You will never be able to grow it in Thailand at the quality that we grow it in the US and Canada. Okay? That's not, unless you want to invest $10 million into your growth. Because in the US, it's very simple. If you grow 1,000 plants, you still have to send 6 plants to a government lab. And if any of those plants are found to be contaminated or with fungals or fungus, you have to burn the entire grow for that season. So that pretty much wipes out any growth coming from any other country. But it doesn't mean you can't send the finished products, right? For example, I always say to Thai people, right? Dry fruits. Could you imagine a mango-based dry fruit with CBD or THC being sold in America? People would eat that up. We have actually created the world's first instant noodle with CBD. Right? That's going to be sold in California in July. We're working here with a Thai company. I don't want to mention the name, but it's not their daddy, it's the other one. Okay? So the opportunity in Thailand is tremendous. Why? Because when you go around the US, people actually say this to me. Where France is to wine, Thailand is to marijuana. The golden triangle is known. We do have one of the best strains. Our best-selling strain is called Thai Kush. We took the strain of Afghanistan Kush and we parented with the Thai strain. And what people say about the Thai strain is this: it smells good. There's a smell to marijuana. Some are actually very bitter. The Thai strain has very, very good smell. And by the way, there's indica and sativa. One puts you to sleep, one wakes you up. The Thai strain is interesting. It's in the middle. It actually kind of, even it's indica or it's sativa, it kind of does both for you, right? So the Thai strain is very, very good. And I think that as Thailand starts doing this business, if you wanted to be in the marijuana business, what you should start thinking about is creating finished products, finished goods. Because even if you were to visit a dispensary in the US now, we have a partnership with a dispensary called Planet 13. It is the world's largest dispensary. We like to call it the Disneyland of dope. There's not a lot of products being sold. This is basically it. This stuff, it's cookies, it's, you know, this is, I'm sure everybody's tried this, a brownie. How much is this brownie, guys? This is $32. Okay, this is a $32 piece of cake. But going back, what's the opportunity for you guys? One, you wait for the laws here to be legalized and you can create your own products. Don't grow and sell. Take the growth that you're going to make and create a product out of it, whether it's oil, right? Marijuana, medical marijuana oil is tremendous, CBD, THC, food, edibles, vapes. Those are the businesses you should be in. Now, we actually went in reverse a little bit. We're saying we don't want to wait for Thailand to legalize because it could take a while. I'm still knocking on wood as to whether or not there even will be elections. Jonathan and I have this discussion every night. So I don't care, I don't wait. What we're doing now is we're actually taking Thai products like the instant noodle, and we're taking the raw material into our facility in Sacramento, into our facility in Las Vegas, into our facility in Lake Tahoe, and we're infusing the marijuana there. So for example, we're taking the raw material, they send it to us in containers and ships. We take it there, we open it up, we put our CBD, which is water soluble, or our THC, we put it into the product and we sell it as CBD and THC ready. So again, you don't have to wait. You just have to figure out which product, and by the way, this is an Indian thing, this is a Chinese thing. You have to remember, marijuana is not thought of as a European product. It's thought of as a Asian, Middle East, India product. So people have that belief. So you almost have to look, what is it that's on the shelf in your store that you can send to the US and get it infused with CBD and THC and make a lot of money? Now, if you want to make a lot of money, you have to be clear too. Are you going to infuse it with CBD, hemp, or THC? If you want to sell mass, meaning you want to sell on Amazon, like our instant noodle, we're only infusing hemp CBD. Will that do anything? Well, I think the doctor can mention, you know, CBD does have some medical, right? If you want to make a lot of money, like example, this cookie has THC, so it sells for $20 up. If it only has CBD, it'll sell for $4. So you have to decide. But if you infuse THC, then you could only sell it through dispensaries. You can't sell it through, right? But again, you don't have to wait for something to be legal if you just know how to do it. I think we figured out the right model. I think that's why our stock has gone from 12 cents to over 30 cents now, because we are the only company who is infusing Thai products. We actually have started talking to another company here called Thao Kea Noi, the seaweed company. I think it's going to be tremendous. Thao Kea Noi with CBD. They're just going to go.
Tom, I just wanted to ask Ajahn Somyot, first of all, I mean, you've been interested in the medical side. How comfortable are you hearing it as a big business and money-making proposition?
I think for CBD, I think even the World Health Organization proposed to reclassify the CBD to get it out from the list of the narcotics. I think it has potential a lot, not just only in the US, I think in the entire world. But for the THC, I think it still have the limitation. I think like Kun Tom said, I think it has the potential. even for doing business with help with your health that can promote your health with the CBD, because CBD has no action on your brain. It still has a lot of potential.
Can I throw the floor open to questions again? Anyone's got any more questions they'd like
May
to
I
ask?
just say one more thing? I forgot to do with it. We also have created, we are working with an Ajahn, I think Kulung Tu and proud of it. His name is Ajahn Ken Fa. He actually created this gel, which is called Orecta, which has an OREC score that is, remember, cannabis is an antioxidant. Let's be clear, that's what it does. It cleans you up. That's why when you smoke it, you don't get lung cancer. There's no nicotine, right? It's an antioxidant, right? So we took his antioxidant with our X score of 75,000 and we infused THC into it just to see what it does. The score went from 75,000 to 225,000. When you took the antioxidant of THC and added with his antioxidant, the number went like this. So my thought now is, you know what's going to be a tremendous business for anybody who wants to be the next billionaire here? Figure out what other antioxidants that are being currently sold from Thailand or Malaysia or Indonesia and just turbo boost it with CBD and THC. How about coconut water with THC? You think that would sell well? Right? How about anything? Remember, my brother, in his wisdom, actually told me, you know what marijuana is, Tom? It's the new green tea. Right? For some reason, everything is green tea. Exactly. Except this is green tea, as the doctor has kindly said, with proven medical benefits. Right? Green tea doesn't put you to sleep. This will. Okay? So I think that's, guys, business doesn't wait for you to follow. Business only allows you to win if you lead. You need to see the opportunity. We have created an opportunity in the US and Canada which allows any product, whether it's from India, Thailand, and we're the only company that's doing this now. My vision to our company when I presented to the board was, I want to be the Intel inside of every product with marijuana in it, right? If you want something with marijuana, come to us, we will put it into your product, and we will sell it. So that's basically, I think, the opportunity for Thailand, the opportunity for Malaysia. Don't wait for the law. You can grow old, die, right? Be in front of the law. Right, that's how we're managing our business. Okay, any questions?
Thanks a lot. Can't wait for Haagen-Dazs marijuana infused ice cream.
You know what they have now? They have gelato. It's not ice cream. It's the gelato.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with THC.
Don't give it to your kids. Question, please.
Hi, my name is Patrick Waters. I'm a French-Canadian journalist, and okay, my question would be for Dr. Somyot about the GPO. From my understanding, the Government Pharmaceutical Agency is the only organization that is right now doing experiments and development of products from cannabis. I interviewed them, and they say for now, the big problem in Thailand is they have to work with the marijuana that is seized from the police. And yeah, that's the situation now, from what I understand. And they say that particular marijuana is not a proper product, as they cannot do a pure extract of whatever the substance. They say it's unpure and full of chemicals. So they say they will need to start governmental farms in order to grow biological cannabis, so they will be able to get the pure extract. Now, sorry for my question, but I try to understand, is right now in Thailand, under the law, is the GPO the only organization that can develop, experiment, conceive, new products from cannabis, and is that agency will be the only one who can export because it's very confused in my mind right now because I've heard many things, and
so you want to know basically, is it just the GPO
yes,
or any
yes.
other? Well, I mean, Dr. Somyot,
Yes.
you already,
And
you don't work for the GPO,
yeah.
do you?
And also, subsidiary question, if I may. The GPO, according to the Thai law, has to be, because you said that cannabis could fund social programs and many
That's right.
things
Anutin said that,
with
yeah.
the taxes in Thailand. But according to the law, the GPO can
Let me help you with
only
this.
fund
As a
the
fellow
health
Canadian,
system, the Thai public health system.
as a fellow Canadian now that I invested money into your country. By the way, I love Toronto, but it was negative 21 when I showed up last week. Let's be clear one more time, guys.
I was asking
No, no,
Dr. Somyot,
yeah. It is illegal in Thailand. I just want to make that clear. There is no law.
can I ask Dr. Somyot, please?
I'm sorry. I think the government pharmaceutical organization, I think they're trying, at first, they're trying to use the brick, Lao brick, like the brick illegally smuggling from our neighboring country from Laos. And finally, they found that they had impurity and contaminant in the brick. They cannot use it as in material, a raw material for producing the drugs to distribute to the patient. Now they changed their mind. Now they changed their mind to grow it by using the facility at the government pharmaceutical organization. They're trying to grow indoor system. They're trying. They had a plan to grow indoor system, but they plan to grow just only to get about 100 dry cannabis budding, but per year at first, maybe just really for research, things like that. So I think it's not enough, but this is the plan.
Is the GPO the only organization that's allowed to do this?
I think it had maybe because it's under the government. GPO is under the government. They had the chance to do it.
But you've been doing experiments and got away with it.
I think they're trying to do research on that, but I'm not sure that we are waiting for the regulation at the ministry level. I am not sure what's gonna happen. I think at first, like somebody said, that we have to, like I think Tom said, we have to import the finished product from abroad, like drugs, things like that, because GPO cannot produce enough drugs for Thai people at first. Maybe in this year, we have to import the product, finished product from people Canada or other countries.
From the earlier discussions, it was made clear, I think, that the law is not enforced yet. So, I mean, as Tom says, it is actually illegal, apart from the GPO's experiments. But as say, Dr. Somyot, you've been able to do experiments.
I'll help with that. So again, I don't want to cut into the question, but I want to get the gentleman's point across. Again, let's be clear. There is no law in Thailand. It passed the cabinet. Every law in Thailand needs to have a royally endorsed signature. That's not going to happen between now and the elections. I guarantee you that. The GPO is not the only one who can do experimentation. Mall Rangsit does it now. Rama Hospital does it now. The doctor does it now. Whether or not you can commercialize that is a whole separate issue. The fact that they were using confiscated marijuana was, I think people just didn't want people to actually understand that we were growing it anyway. Thai people, or Asians in general, I met with the vice president of Laos last week because he wanted me to go in and figure out how to do Laos. And I said to him, you're never going to do it because there is a way to grow marijuana and you have to grow it in this kind of facility. So even the GPO at this time does not have this kind of facility.
Yes.
So to answer everybody's question is, no, the GPO will not be the only one who does it. Once it's legal, everybody will get to do it. But then everybody has to learn how to do it this way. Because if you don't do it this way, then you're wasting your time.
So is Anutin going to win votes in Buriram and his stronghold in places where people just have fields and probably think they can replace their sugarcane crop with marijuana?
Well, I think what's going to happen, Jonathan, is I think it's going to be a very basic here. I think it's more like how do you call it, when you're growing up by yourself, but there's a consortium of cooperatives?
Yeah.
I think what you're going to end up is cooperatives. And basically is even in Buri, like if you have land, right? By the way, guys, your land price is not going to go up because you're going to be able to start to grow marijuana in your backyard, right? I think as in anything in Thailand, you have to be realistic. Big growers will control the growth. I find it very difficult that anybody in this room will end up being a CP of marijuana because CP will grow, right? Let's be realistic. But it doesn't mean that what they can't set up is cooperatives that will allow you to grow, right? So I don't think any individual will go out and build this, but I think you'll get people like Beta Grow, I think you'll get people like CP, I think you'll get people like Kuncharan who will build these large cooperatives that will allow each individual to grow. And then you can sell it back to them. Because to grow medically marijuana, you need this. You need to be wearing this, right? Or else you're not going to be able to sell it medically. And that's why I think the doctor is very clear. There is a loophole that will allow imports back in, just because there will be not enough facilities here in Thailand. Because there won't be enough. You can't grow in Thailand or create the product that is legal and medical quick enough to meet the demand. The demand will be when this thing is legal, the demand's going to be here. The supply is going to be somewhere around here because you can't meet the standards of it. I mean, you can do it illegally. I'm a little confused on why people are taking marijuana in Thailand now because it's all contaminated. But people are so desperate. They want to take anything, right? You have to be very, very careful. You're putting a substance into your body that currently doesn't meet the standard of what the US, Canada, Europe, Israel is putting in there. But I think to answer your question is everybody will learn how to do it. And eventually, you know.
Next question, please.
Thank you. Somyot. Thank you, Jonathan, for hosting. Tom, my question is probably for you, but anyone can answer. You said don't wait for the laws. Obviously, there's laws about consumption, production, processing, import, and export. But I think the laws that you're seeing in the US, and you probably know this very well, that are holding them back is the banking laws. And so I want to ask your thoughts on that, and whether it's before or after the banking laws might change federally in the US, how would that affect the import and export of products in the transfer of funds that way?
The US is a very interesting country, and he's absolutely right. This you have to understand. In the US, federally, it is illegal. So thus, you can't actually go to a bank and get a loan to do marijuana. You can't, right? When we bought our company in Canada, we were stupid, right? We had hired $750 an hour lawyers, and they were stupid because the way the contract was written up was Tom is going to invest in a cannabis company in America, and we got stopped. Not by the Bank of Thailand, but actually the Bank of Canada. And that's legal in Canada, right? But it's as a Thai citizen, I couldn't do that. So we had to actually send our money to invest in real estate in Canada. Then the money was then transferred to our cannabis holding. America is even worse. But I'll give you the opportunity, and this is something that we've done now. So we raised over $50 million in Thailand to be a cannabis bank. So we're actually providing money to growers, to dispensaries, to extraction labs that cannot go to Bank of America, and they take the loan from us. And we charge 8% interest with a convertible debt at 20% of the company, right? So there's another opportunity if you want to make money off marijuana, is to be the financier of the growth. Will it change? Yes. I think if Representative Weiland's proposal to allow marijuana to be legal in all of America, then the banking laws will change and they'll allow much better transfer of money. But then again, you know, it's a problem, but in that problem, we found an opportunity. Because if you can't go from loan from a bank, get the money from me. And that's what we're doing.
Thank you.
Next question, please. Yeah.
Yes, it's the next question, and I supposed to be the last question for tonight. I am a Thai.
You are?
Yes.
Who told you that?
Grew up in America, yes. So, do you think that this kind of the law going to be effective in Thailand when and I don't know where? Tell me the truth, only the truth.
What's the question?
Don't know. Were you asking when the law is going to be finalized? Sorry, were you asking when the law will be finished?
Yes, because we are waiting for when we're going to make use of this kind of raw materials.
Are you in a hurry?
Yes, yes.
Here's
I'm
a
very
pretzel for
hungry.
you.
Yes.
Come and get it.
Hallelujah. Tell me the truth, only the truth. No bullshit.
Spoken like a voter.
One, we have to have elections first. I think that pretty much answers the first part question. So hopefully on March 24th, there are elections in Thailand. The laws, I think, will be enacted very quickly, just because, as Kun Anutin said, whether it's the army or whether it's Bhum Jai Thai, whether it's Pheu Thai, if they were to win, needs to always service the rural people of Thailand. When the price of rice is now at what? 100 baht? 50 baht? When the price of tapioca is at 10 baht, when the price of rubber is at 30 baht, and you can sell cannabis-laced products for thousands of baht, the law will be passed very quickly. And every party supports this. I don't think there's any party who's gone out there and said, this is a bad policy. Next to that, it's not only passing of the law. Right? Again, law passing is one thing. Then it's the business aspect of it. Right? Because if there's one thing Asians do very well, is they research everything to death. Right? They'll ask for reports. They'll ask for findings or ask for all of this. And I went to the Ministry of Health and I said, just Google everything. It's already there. America has legalized this. They probably done their research. So I think it will happen very quickly, but I don't want to sell a dream. Everybody thinks that they can grow this in their backyard and become millionaires. Ain't gonna happen, guys. That's a fallacy. Everybody thinks that they're gonna be able to grow on their land in Ubon, Udon, Ratchathani, and you're gonna be El Chapo, right? Ain't gonna happen. But it doesn't mean you cannot make a lot of money from the cannabis business. Let me tell you what the cannabis business to me is. It's Apple. Steve Jobs created Apple. What did he create? He created the iPhone. So the cannabis is the iPhone. People didn't get rich off the iPhone because Apple got rich off the iPhone. What did they get rich off? All the apps around it. All the apps surrounding the ecosystem of the iPhone. So you don't have to create the iPhone by growing the marijuana. Figure out the apps around it. Whether it's medical marijuana in Thailand, right? Could you imagine when it opens up that you can come and take medical marijuana treatment in Thailand? How many Indians would come? How many Saudis would come? How many Malaysians would come? It will be tremendous here. You can I'll tell you what, one of the kids, 3 months ago, a kid asked me, how can I make money? I go, create a bong. Create a bong. Create a new bong that people in America will want to buy, because you're going to create this story where you went into the jungles of Laos and cut down a bamboo tree and you created this super bong. He's selling it now for $39.95 on Amazon. And it's made in China. But it's a story. People believe in it. So if you ask me the economic impact of cannabis, it's only your imagination, because cannabis can be turned into anything. Hemp can be turned into clothing. It can be used for rope. It has medical properties, right? You can't take liquor and make pretzels out of them. You can do it with cannabis, right? Now, so to answer your question, I think it will be done very quickly, because the objective of every politician is to do what? Win the rural votes. And there's nothing better than to give the rural farmers an entirely new cash crop. But I want to be crystal clear. I think there's another reason, and I think the doctor can help me answer this better. It cures pain. Cannabis cures pain. So it's not only an economic impact, but there are people right now who are taking chemotherapy, who are nauseated, who cannot eat. They take THC, and their appetite comes back. There are people who can't sleep. And what happens when you can't sleep? You get stress. Your brain doesn't work, right? Sexual prowess goes away. All of this stuff causes pain. What cannabis does is it takes away the pain. You know, I told the Minister of Tourism, right? I said, you know, we can actually promote this as Thailand curing the pain to the people in the world, right? We truly can promote the land of smiles everywhere if you just have the right product. So again, let's be clear. Look, I'm a business guy. I did it for the economic reasons, but I understand why my economic reasons will be very, very successful, because what I sell is the curement of pain. And if the doctor can, you know, fulfill that, but I think that's what cannabis does.
Is it that good, Ajahn Somyot? And does it have other medical applications aside from pain?
I think we have seen a lot of cases. For example, like Tom said, for pain, even I saw a nurse have a problem with her back pain using opioid cannot control the pain, but after using the cannabis oil, it's go away. It's just only in 1 day. So I think it's just only one kind of application, just only pain. You can earn a lot of money from that using cookie or anything. Yeah.
If anybody knows, I'll give you your $1 billion business right now. Somebody wants to make $1 billion? Do Yamong, THC, or CBD. How simple is that?
There we have it. I'm going to wrap up for tonight. Big round of applause for our speakers, and thanks for coming.